What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. It is an absolutely stunning day in the garden today. It's about 75 degrees. Sun's kind of popping in and out behind some clouds, just a bluebird sky. It is just fantastic. I could not be any more blessed. And I just wanted to thank you all before we get into this episode for allowing me to be out here, because technically this is my office. Technically this is what puts food on the table for Mrs. MIgardener and I. And this right here is not work. This does not seem work to me. This is absolute play. This is just pure bliss to be out here in the garden, helping all of you grow big or go home. And to have that opportunity is such a privilege. And so I want to really first off thank all of you for enjoying these videos and just, like I said, throwing a like up there, throwing a comment. That helps. That helps motivate me, and in turn allows me to do what I love to do. So thank you guys so much, because it is days like this that I get to spend time out in the garden and I think, wow, could I be any more blessed? Could I be any luckier to be out here in this? This is just, it's such an incredible day. So thank you guys so much. What are we talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about how to give climbing plants, or potentially climbing plants, a climbing chance. And I kind of thought about that. This morning when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, because we've been getting a lot of people that have been asking me, Luke, I thought I was growing a climbing plant, but it's kind of not climbing at all. It's just growing along the ground. What do I do, and what am I doing wrong? And a lot of these people are growing things that do have the potential to climb. They're just not giving them a climbing chance. When you give plants something to climb up, they won't always take advantage of it. And that's because plants, they don't have the ability to sense their surroundings. They really just kind of flop around until they get lucky, and then they kind of say, oh, well, now this is where I'm going to grow. And so if you don't give them the right footing, the right stair step to get onto that trellis or to get onto that stake, they're not really going to take advantage of it, and they really won't grow to their maximum potential, because they're going to be growing all along the ground. And so it only takes one tiny little step to get them going in the right direction, and then they're pretty much set for the rest of the season. But I just see so many times people will grow something like a cucumber. We're going to talk about cucumbers or melons, and they grow primarily on the ground, but they have the potential to grow vertically. They just aren't given the right, steps to successfully grow vertically, and so they just keep growing all along the ground. And when we change the pattern in which our plants grow, we can not only grow more food in less space, but we can actually have healthier plants in the long run. So we're here with our cantaloupe, and cantaloupe have a bad reputation of being a space hog in the garden. A lot of people don't add these plants to their garden because they just don't have enough space to dedicate to a plant that really sprawls and crawls and takes over the entire garden. And rightfully so. I mean, if they're left to their own devices, they will do that. Plants like pumpkins, winter squash, like vining squash like that, even cucumbers, as well as watermelon, they have a tendency of just really sprawling and taking over an entire space. And they can even, again, left to their own devices, they like to crawl and sprawl, but they'll also trample other plants. And so a lot of people, they don't add them to their garden because, who likes a bully? And so they tend to be a garden, kind of a garden bully, as we call them. But if we can get them growing up a trellis in the right direction, they're actually not much of a bully at all. They just kind of take up their own space, but they grow vertically rather than all over the place horizontally. And so I want to show you guys how to get them started in the right way, because even though they have tendrils, plants like peas, pole beans, they don't really have tendrils. Tendrils are kind of a modified leaf, it's called, and it actually has the ability to twirl and secure itself as an anchor to a structure. So pole beans don't really have tendrils, but they can twist and wrap and secure themselves much like a tendril would on a pea. So you have, pole beans will do this, peas, cucumbers, pumpkins, vining squash, watermelons, even cantaloupe. And the only plant that can climb but doesn't have tendrils is actually a tomato. Tomatoes can climb, and you can twist them around something, and as long as you twist them around the plant, it'll actually kind of secure itself to that. You can do it with a string, or we do it with some stretchy nylon string. Once you secure it, it pretty much grows straight. So that's the only plant that is a vining crop that does not have tendrils. And a lot of these plants that have tendrils, they pretty much, they're just they're so unwieldy because of the fact that the tendrils only work if they really sit there for a long time. And so the problem is, a lot of people, they grow their plants next to a trellis, and the plants just kind of grow right through the trellis, like this. Check it out. So pretty much like this. See, we grew it right next to the trellis. And a lot of people say, well, I grew it right next to the trellis, why didn't it climb? Well, as you can see here, it's not like they have a brain. You know, it's not like they have the ability to just say, oh, a trellis, I'm gonna climb. See, you can see here, this is a side shoot. It's just gonna grow, it's just gonna keep growing out. And a lot of people, they just keep letting stuff kind of get unmanaged. What we have to do is we have to select the ones that wanna grow up, and we also have to help them grow up. So, like I said, these plants, they have the ability to fork and multiply, much like a tomato plant, which I'll bring you guys over to show you. So much like a tomato plant has the ability to produce a sucker. These suckers are whole new plants, okay? And if you don't prune off those suckers, you're going to have many, many plants. It's gonna bush out and get really big. Well, the same thing happens, and the same thing applies to our cantaloupe. Well, when our cantaloupe grow, as you can see here, they're growing, this whole mess right here is coming from a plant that is already growing. It's already growing up. So we don't need a plant growing this way and a plant growing up. We're gonna prune this. And so I'm gonna take some scissors and I'm gonna just snip this off. Actually, I can probably break that off because it's so tender, but just take that right off, because in the end, I don't want anything that's gonna be growing into my lettuce, and I don't want anything that's gonna be taking over and trampling my nasturtiums. Here's another one. See, look at this. See, don't be a bully. See, this, every once in a while, you just have to tell your plant, don't be a bully. And you just come in here and just break it off, because at the end of the day, this is just gonna trample your plants, and you're gonna be left with a giant mess and a bad reputation for this type of plant. What we have to do is we have to correct the plant, we have to correct the growth and get it to grow straight up. So one of the ways that I really like to give my cantaloupe and my cucumbers and my vining squash, plants that are a little heavier, they're a little more top heavy, they really don't like to listen and they really like to sprawl and crawl, I like to give them a little extra help. You know, people have success by taking their plants and weaving them around. You know, that's how I got a lot of these started, was just kind of taking this huge floppy mess here and kind of just saying, well, I'm gonna just kind of push you up and kind of push you around and hopefully you'll stay. But it only takes one strong wind or the plant to say, nah, I don't think so, I'd like to grow on the ground, for it to be down on the ground in a matter of a day. And so then it's just then you're just playing you're just playing a game of, you know, stay up, no. Stay up, no. Stay up, no. And it's just, the plant will always win. The plant is very, very stubborn. And so what I like to do is just take some stretchy string here, and I like to just say, well, I don't care what you want to do. I want you to stay on the trellis. And so I'm just going to take some stretchy string here, just like I would a tomato, and I'm going to simply just loosely tie this plant to the trellis. And I'm going to tie it up far enough to where, you know, and not tight. I don't want to tie it tight, because the worst thing you can do is tie it too tight to where it chokes the stem. But as you can see here, I tied it underneath a leaf node. It's just kind of hanging there, but it supports it up to the point where if the weight of it falls down, it's going to simply just kind of fall snug on that leaf node, and it'll stay up here on the trellis. It's not going anywhere. And that way, no matter how strong the wind is or how much it really wants to crawl on the ground, it's staying up. And then as it grows, these tendrils now are going to attach to whatever they can latch to, and once they're anchored in place, they're not going anywhere. All right, and here's another vine that just does not want to be on the trellis. This thing just wants to go anywhere but the trellis. And so what we want to do is we want to pull it up straight here, not too hard to where it snaps. These vines are very tender, they will snap. But we're going to pull it up straight here, and we're going to find a leaf node. Here's one leaf node, here's another leaf node, and we're just going to take our stretchy string here, and we're going to say, all right, nope. Actually, I'm going to tie it up a little higher. We're going to say, all right, nope, I do not want you climbing on the ground. Sam, I am. I do not want you climbing on the ground. I want you climbing on a trellis. Dr. Seuss would not be proud. But you get the point. We're going to climb. We're going to secure it underneath that leaf node there, just loosely. That way it can sway in the wind. It's not going to choke it. But as you can see, now this has acted. The string has acted kind of like a artificial tendril. Now we have used this as the tendril to secure it to the trellis, and now even if it grows, it really only can grow up from here. It can't fall out. And so as these tendrils form and as they sway around, they're going to say, oh, all right, well, there's something to anchor to. I'm going to hold on to this. And then it'll say, oh, I can hold on to that. And then, like I said, it only takes 1 or 2 anchor points along this plant's life to get it going in the right direction so that it's not flopping all over the ground. And a lot of gardeners, they simply forget that this type of tool, whether it's cut nylons, whether it's elastic string, whether it's just something that has a little bit of stretch, even some tomato tie-up tape, some green stretchy tomato tie-up tape, can be a lifesaver to getting your vining plants up on a trellis and giving them a vining chance. Otherwise, they're all over the place. And you might have a few that find their way, but for the most part, they go all over the place. And this, I think, is probably one of the biggest questions we get about getting plants to start vining is, Luke, why aren't my vining plants vining? And this is why. So there you go. It is really that simple to getting your plants that were unmanaged, managed, and growing in the right direction. I really hope this helps. I really hope that you have vining plant success from now on. And I really do hope that if you're someone that was afraid to grow them or afraid of them taking over the garden, that you give this a shot, because I cannot tell you how much of a difference it'll make in your garden. I also really want to reiterate the importance of pruning, whether it's snapping it off like I did with my fingers, or using pruners or scissors if you got those on hand, something to clip those extra vines, because you can't let everything grow. I mean, I think you've seen how big a pumpkin plant can get. Some pumpkin plants can get 20, 40, 60 square feet in area, a single plant. This small trellis here is only 3 feet wide by 10 feet long, and I have another set of plants on the other side, as you guys saw, so I'm meeting in the middle. I can't afford 60 square feet because this trellis, even if it took up the entire trellis from one side to the next, I only have 30 square feet. So you really have to be selective with the vines that you pick, and pruning is going to help that. So I hope that you guys did not miss that tip. If not, that's why I reiterated it, because it's very, very important. But again, also just remember to use something stretchy. Do not use string, do not use twine. Those are very, very tight, and they don't have any elasticity to them. Get something that has some stretch in it so you don't choke the plant, and that way the plant can actually grow, and it kind of grows with the plant as you grow. Yeah, it's really that simple. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home. I'll catch y'all later. See ya. Bye.